RealAgriculture.com's coverage of Agritechnica 2023 in Hannover, Germany is brought to you by Optimum Glide, a new canola trait technology from Corteva Agriscience. Sean Haney here with Real Agriculture. We're at Agritechnica 2023, brought to you by Optimum Glide, a new canola trait technology from Corteva Agriscience. We're out on the trade show floor here. I believe we're in Hall 8, and right now we're joined by Nic Dubuc, who is a farmer from Montreal. Nick, how's it going?
Very good. A little bit tired from all the walking, but it's worth it.
If you're looking for about 10 to 15,000 steps a day, this is the place for you, indeed. Nick, I highly respect your coverage and your tweets that you've been providing about Agritechnica. You are somebody that's very in tune with what's happening in the machinery market. What's kind of your impressions this year of 2023 Agritechnica?
So I think there's like two trends that are really sticking out to me right now. There's really the new energy stuff where you see all manufacturers, they're trying to come out with electric tractors, methane, compressed natural gas, all sorts of ideas. HVO is another one that's showing right now. So I think there's really like that sustainable fuel discussion right now that's happening. So they're showing concepts. Whether or not they're going to make it to market, that's a different thing. But that's a big trend where everybody's showing something. The other one is we're seeing a lot of autonomy, and not just. I mean, there's robots everywhere. Everybody has their idea. Lemkin, Krone, AgXseed, so on and so forth. Kuhn. But there's also the majors that are trying to stay in that position with, retrofit where you can have a standard tractor being autonomous. So, Class being probably the latest one we're seeing. So it's really, those are really the two things I'm seeing a lot. I'd say there are two main trends. And then there's one weird one that really stuck out to me, which is mechanical weeding for row crops. We're back in the 80s. We're back to, row crop cultivators and, making sure you're not going to rip off 10 feet of corn when you turn around, that type of stuff. So more higher tech stuff. But there's really that, I think it's based on that reducing pesticide use by 50% by 2030. Yeah. It's really showing this year. They're trying to find all sorts of solutions for weed control other than pesticides.
And one thing that I noticed in the autonomy is, one, we're doing it faster. Right, so the sensors have the computing speed is picked up from 4 years ago, and the other thing I would say too is talking about autonomy not just from the power unit of the tractor, but also the smart implement, if we want to say that, the tractor and the implement working. There's some collaboration, Amazon and Kloss and it being one of the examples, but it seems to be a lot of that as well.
Yeah, I'd say, to a certain extent, it makes sense that your implement controls your tractor. So I think that tractor implement automation we've been seeing for probably 4 or 5 years on balers. There's all sorts of opportunities everywhere else, based on, planting speed based on ground conditions, for example. So I think integration with implements will be important because your tractor alone could be autonomous, but if you don't adjust to what's happening at the back, whether you're raking or planting or spreading, then that really doesn't have as much value. Yeah. So
the product that definitely got the most attention probably this week would definitely be the CR11, the New Holland Combine. Yeah. If you thought that combines were going to get smaller, sorry, they are getting larger.
Well, the one interesting thing I'd say is they're probably staying the same size, but doing more within the same envelope. It's maybe a little bigger. It's probably longer, definitely not wider because of roads here. It's probably definitely a lot heavier. Michelin developed those tires specifically for that combine. That says a lot about, what needs to happen in terms of compaction. But yeah, there's still a race to bigger and bigger, and I think that's going to keep going for a while. But they're getting limited in the space they can use. You can't get any wider. You can't really get any higher. So you can make it a bit longer, but we're going to hit that wall where I would think it's not possible to make bigger. So maybe it's going to be time to make it smarter.
The other thing that I noticed, and I wrote about this in a column, and I saw a tweet that you had put out that was, I think, fairly similar, is sort of an admission here that full electrification is not as close as maybe there was the intent, say, 4 years ago in 2019 at the last exhibition. We have, even in some of the autonomous robots, diesel powered, but there's electric to the drives, but diesel is powering these units.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say 2019, everybody was showing robots that were basically empty shells. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's going to be electric. We have no idea how we're going to do it, but it's going to be electric. Whereas now they're telling you, well, it's got a diesel engine. Maybe it's diesel over electric, but still, you're going to have a diesel engine, because I think people are realizing, especially with higher horsepower applications, you do need to have a good power source that's going to be reliable. 2-3 hours of battery autonomy is not going to cut it for anything we do on a farm except filling a TMR or light duty application in the barn. So I think the industry is coming to that conclusion, and I'd say manufacturers are not necessarily afraid this year to show that it might be a multi-solution approach. They'll have electric for the compact tractors, light duty implements, but they may need to go to HVO or something else for the bigger machines. So at least the way they're showing equipment, I think, says there's going to be that multi-pronged approach.
The last thing I would say too is a continuation of here's our software ecosystem. Yeah. That everyone's trying to build a little bit of a better software mousetrap. Being connected is, everybody has something connected this year. We're all connected very much, and everyone's using the same word. It's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. It's class connected, or it's something else connected. So everybody's kind of going down the same themes. But yeah, I think the one thing that really struck me this year is there is not a whole lot of new equipment that's really groundbreaking. That combine's big and it's different, but I don't know if I would call it groundbreaking, but it's mostly technology, integrating that technology between tractors and equipment. But I think we went, or at least I'd say that on the Deere side, from what I've seen, they went with that big display of technology 4 years ago to we're showing what we want to do to now we're working on it. So we don't really have anything concrete to show you. But next one might be where it happens.
Yeah, it maybe tells us where we are in the cycle too, right? Where we're like, hey, we're less dreaming and more reality.
Yeah, and they might have realized that they showed a few bad ideas in the end. But yeah, I think they're working. They're definitely working for the future, but the path is probably clearer for them. Yeah. Not sure it is for me when it comes to autonomy or autonomous vehicles, but they probably know a little better where they want to go. Where the industry as a whole is going is a completely different discussion, though.
Well, Nic, thanks a lot for joining us. Really appreciate it, and keep up the great work covering what's happening in the machinery world. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was great to see you here.